No, but not
Okay, Mfundo, I got you, Mfundo.
But then
no excuses. That's like
Yeah, I feel the interview up until the stage has been too proper.
yeah.
Okay, you tell us.
Must I turn up the heat?
Means that this guy.
Say? But I've already asked the question that I want him to respond. I've already asked the question that I want for him to respond to now.
Also, please be mindful of the time.
Okay, let him answer it and then let's see how it goes. Gagasi FM in the morning, and we're still talking to MacG of Podcast and Chill. MacG, I'm sure you've had enough time to wrap your head around the question I asked you, it being a springboard and also at the same time being seen as a poison chalice.
Oh man, the thing is like, hey bro, like what we try to do is document Black history,
Mm-hmm.
We've got a platform that everybody's welcome to speak. It doesn't matter whether you're famous or not, but it's all about the story and how you can inspire other Black people that are watching. It's the voice of the voiceless. We've had people on who wouldn't be able to get on the show, for example, because of they're not known or you know what I mean. So if you want to come and use the platform for whatever agenda that you want to use it for, it's fine. But what we'll do is we'll give anyone a fair opportunity to come and push whatever it is they want to push. I mean, people never highlight the good things that the podcast has done over the years. People want to talk about Jup and this and that. But I mean, if you speak to Celeste Ntuli, she said this on our podcast recently. She said before she came on our show, she only sold 3 tickets to a show, and then after coming on our show, she was sold out with 24 hours. People want to mention
Thibaut Touch.
Thibaut Touch got his Metro FM gig because he came on our show. Hlophe is now touring America. She's touring UK, and before our show, nobody knew what she looked like. Nobody even knew.
Why are you so egged with the Eat Girls? Why do they rub you off the wrong way?
No, before we get to that, I just want to highlight the fact that people never mention that. And a platform like yours, instead of mentioning It Girls, you should be highlighting those things, because those are the things that matter. Those are the things that uplift us as Black people. And that's the narrative that people never want to push. They want to push the Eagles. They want to push the Jup thing, which is something that happens. And it has happened, but it's not the main focus of the show is about. The show is about uplifting Black people. It's about documenting our history, unfiltered.
Unfiltered documentation and uplifting of Black people, says MacG of Podcast and Chill. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to ask him about his beef or his irritation with the It Girls, and also a question from you about Ghost Lady and when they're going to reveal Ghost Lady. That and more still to come right here in the place to be. For now, we're at the bottom of the hour. It's 8:30. MacG, we're going to go straight to the news headlines, and then we're going to check out at the world of sports and come back with traffic, and then we're back to you once again.
News. Headlines at 8:30. Good morning. I'm Brighton Dolly. Police Minister Peggy is expected to present the quarterly crime statistics today, reflecting on crimes that occurred during the fourth quarter of 2021-22 financial year. The Human Resources for the South African National Defence Force has admitted that it has failed the military veterans as well as the South African Defence Force. Susanel Swetangamandlage will bring you full details on these and other stories at 9 o'clock.
Gagasi FM Sports.
Asibingelele in your final look at sports on the uprising. Ikama Samkelo, the sports in Chita. Pito Musimane has reflected on his CAF Champions League final loss to Mobanje Isabashega Nani like South Africa. Ikembulika Musimane Al Ahli Lashawa 2-0 in the final on Monday against the Wydad Casablanca Betala in Morocco. Mr. Jingles Wepege Kuba Ukopumlando Ngoguba Umkekesho Kala winner a Champions League Gatsat Glandilana. However, the club of the century failed to capitalize on Matsuba Bawatola, even though they enjoyed a 67% ball position. Speaking to the public broadcaster, Mr. Jingles uthi bazigwaza ngowabo njengoba nje bahluleka ukukora.
Without came and scored the goals. We came to play football, and we missed all the chances. How many more did we want? What's important is at the end of the day is to win the game. You can't play beautiful football every day and all that. You lose, and we'll always say, yeah, they played very well, but they lost. So I like winning so much more than playing beautiful football. Who cares about how we played well against Wydad? The trophy's gone, so we lost the trophy. So Wydad are not talking about how much ball possession we had, how many chances we made. Today, they are the champions of Africa, period.
Staying with football, Orlando Pirates legend and former assistant coach Utebogo Moloi Kologutsi Pirates Tingu Makati as the head coach. Moloi was the assistant coach Ngaleskatsindo Demnyama even a domestic treble under a Dutch coach Ruud Krol in 2011. The Buccaneers are currently have Ufaju Davis Benamanda Gagasi as coach Abasabambile. It remains to be seen with Lili Kumbuzo Bakasha on a permanent basis for the season enter or Bazotingo Mkakasho Mocha. They did reach the final week of Confederations Cup season, but corner and had another disappointing campaign with domestic football during the season. Number 6, Pirates, I think, and Joe McCarthy was a bit of Alaba winning for some trophy.
He's played for the team. He understands the magnitude that comes with wearing the jersey, and he has done very well. And he's one of our best players in South Africa to be able to perform at the highest level. And he came at a time when Pirates really needed to defend the treble. And honestly speaking, him and Dan Clade did very well with the other guys. And for him to be given a chance to coach the team, I think he might come up with the right things and right formulas and
Japs, let's wrap it up immediately now.
Understand what it takes to wear Pirates jersey.
Yep. And finally, in some tennis, world number 1 Iga Swiatek was with American teenager Coco Gauff. Finally, French Open, Ixasa Gauff defeated Martina Trevisan with 6-3, 6-1 to reach her first Grand Slam final. The American is the youngest Grand Slam singles finalist since Maria Sharapova winner Wimbledon Ngalesis Kati go 2004 in a 17. Coco usebenzisele litubage to call for peace and an end to gun violence lapane America.
For me, it's important just as a person in the world, regardless of tennis player or not. And I think for me, it was especially important just being in Europe and, being on where I know people globally around the world are for sure watching. And I think that this is a problem, it's in other parts of the world, but especially in America, it's a problem that's frankly been happening over some years, but obviously now it's getting more attention. But for me, it's been an issue for years. For me, it's kind of close to home. I had some friends that were a part of the Parkland shooting back in, I don't remember which year, and I remember.
And that is all I have on sports. Okamanje, my 9 updates.
With the last traffic update for the uprising on the N2 northbound heading towards Aspire Drive, there's queuing traffic as one lane is open on M4. Umasiagu M25 if you're going towards N2, so do give yourself enough travel time if uzohamba ngakhona. Kanti ke ku R102 in Phoenix, there's slow moving traffic on Phoenix Highway ubese unyukela ku Chris Hani Road. Ukhumbuleke to only overtake when it is safe to do so. Umshayeli ngizoyibamba lapho kamanje ngo 9 o'clock ngizobuya nenye update. Kodwa ke khona kubona emgaqweni usindela ama voice notes, ithombe and videos on 0789342827 for Gagasi FM traffic. Pamela Majola. Wham bam, thank you, bam. Sure.
Chilling with MacG of Podcast and Chill. So, I don't know. I see a lot of me in you, MacG. In fact, I think we should hang out sometime, but not on the podcast. But just you, your mates, and my mates. How you like that?
Why not on the podcast? Why not on the podcast?
Because I'm stupid.
Do you have 24 hours to chill, MacG?
Because I'm stupid. I might just mess around and say something I shouldn't. But
it's the craziest thing. Everybody always says that, and then when all our guests, when they come on the show, they're like, "Yo, man, I was so scared to come on the show because of wada." And then by the end of the interview, they're like, "Yo, that is the best interview you've ever done."
No, I must give it to you, my guy. You are the best interviewer. You've got this rapport that you build easily with your people, and I don't know, they find it easy to talk to you. I find you are easy to listen to. But also, on that same breath,
Can I tell you why that's the case? Because when I sit down with someone, I don't get their accolades and what they've done and whatnot. I try to talk to the person, the human being.
Yeah.
You know, which is what I think you have failed to do on this interview. You haven't been talking to me as a human being. You've just been asking me things that you've seen as headlines, trying to get a response so you can get clickbait, you know? Because, I mean, why is it we're not talking about the fact that I've hired more than 30 young black people in the climate where unemployment is so high? That's never happened.
You see,
you want to talk about it, girl? You want to talk about
no, you see, MacG.
For us as a young people, it does nothing. Okay, how does that inspire the person listening right now?
Okay, ask a question so I can respond. Ask me a question. You say we fail to talk to you as a human being. You see, the difference between a podcast and a radio show like this is we work within the parameters. We get content producers that give us content of things that we have to ask you. So if you were chilling with me in my podcast, I'd certainly be talking to you in a different way, but I'm required to act in a certain way when I'm on this platform. So yeah, I understand your frustration, yes, but I have to ask these questions because they're on my prep and because I am meant to ask them. But also, I've got things of personal interest that I'd like to ask you. Like, for instance...
It's not your show. It's not your show.
No, it's not my show.
Whose show is it then?
It's the station's show.
No, it's not, dog. You know, I've worked in radio before. You have the final say with everything. Yes, there's a producer that'll give you guidelines of questions to ask, but at the end of the day, you have the final say in what you can ask.
No, I don't. MacG.
I have no issues with answering.
MacG, I don't have a final say. I'll have you. Let me correct that. But I'm also giving you a platform to correct things and perceptions that people hold about you. And I'm asking you these uncomfortable questions so that you may level the plane.
I don't mind. I'm saying there needs to be a balance. All you've been asking me is the controversies. There hasn't been a balance. I'm saying, why are you failing to highlight?
I'm not failing. I'm actually ticking all the boxes I'm supposed to tick. It's just maybe you find you are irritated with the questions that I'm asking you because they're uncomfortable.
What's the one positive thing you said about the podcast?
The one positive thing I said, people that have actually come out stronger from your interaction or being on the podcast. No. They've landed jobs. Yes.
Say, you didn't mention that things come out of the pot. Is it a poison chalice?
No, I said on the one end of the spectrum, it's seen as a poison chalice. On the opposite end, it's seen as a springboard. And we can name about 4 people that have come out stronger from your interaction. But now you've taken a hold of my interview, and I still need. I
mentioned those people. You should have mentioned them. You should have.
No, should have, could have. No, MacG. No, MacG. No. Don't. On your show, you get to ask people what you want to ask them. On my show, I get to ask them what I want to ask them. I understand that you only want the positive. You want the positive highlighted about you. If I highlight the negative, then you act off, which then says to me.
No, I didn't say that. I said there must be a balance. I said since the interview has started, you've just been asking me about all the details.
That's what you are. But most of the content about you, MacG, is shocking, and most of the content about you is controversial. So I cannot now suddenly, because to make you comfortable, I ask you about things that are to your comfort. Most of every time I see you on a headline, it's something controversial. Whether it's Facebook, whether it's on a newspaper, it's always controversial. So naturally, the interview with you will be about the things that actually bring your attention here to you, and mostly it's controversial stuff.
I said earlier in the interview, it's a narrative people are trying to push.
And I agreed with you. I even said we face the same.
If you're a chiller, you would know that that's not what the show is about. Hence, numbers don't lie. Week in, week out, people tune into the show because it's not about that.
So
they don't tune into the 5-minute clips that you are seeing and